It's billed as Future Champions Weekend is the highlight of this weekend's action at Newmarket. It's just such a brilliant, busy period as the flat racing starts to just wind up a little bit. It's the final season, the final meet of the season at York as well. Jason Weaver, as always, alongside me. One of the best days of the calendar, not only Cesarewitch Day, of course, but we get to see the stars of the future. Maybe Betfred Triple Crown hopes going on trial this weekend at HQ.
Quite like the sound of that. And it always has a massive sort of reasoning on going into next season. And this is where what everybody has been aiming for towards the back end, that launch pad into the Betfred Classics for next season. So that is the absolute key. And we have got a lovely bunch of races around some of the absolute top class action.
We certainly have. Let's get stuck into it then. We've got 8 races to look forward to between HQ and on the names. My starting with the Darley Stakes at 1:15. Only 9 runners, but a real mix. We've got a couple coming back from disappointments abroad, the likes of Ancient Roman and Spirit Dancer at Liberty Lane, the Cambridge winner up into Pattern Company over the same track and at the foot of the race card as well. This is a real intriguing opener.
Yeah, it's an absolute cracker, isn't it? You're right about the Cambridgeshire winner. Surely that's got to be, not marked up. We've got to take that form with a pinch of salt, haven't we? Got away up over on the far side and was absolutely dominant on that occasion. Spirit Dancer, what happened to him? And for him to come back now off the back of, 196 days away from the track. Is this going to be a launch pad for another international campaign? Is a possibility. The Foxes, he's gone missing. He's coming back. And then we've got the 2 3-year-olds down the bottom, Lead Artist and Skellet. Now, Lead Artist was no match for Kinross at Doncaster. And I think Skellet is arguably off just about a career best. Now, being a half-sister to Skitter Scatter, she's going to appreciate the step up in trip, and Ryan Moore on board. So one for the unexposed, I think, 3-year-old down the bottom, and one for the girls, Skellet.
Yeah, the one for the girls and Skellet there. Let's head over to York for their opener. Then we'll go in chronological order. We've got a listed contest over 6 furlongs. I think the shape of this race just could sense around, do you take the Irish win for Bolognese at face value? Went over there rated 77, won almost $250,000, and now he comes over here and he's off 99. I mean, that kind of sets the race up.
Yeah, just a £22 hike by the assessor. But because you win in such a big prize, I think you've got to take the rap over the knuckles and you jump up in company. I think there was a massive bias towards the track where Bolognese got away. And I'd be very, very wary of that particular rating. Shadow Army has fallen off a cliff. His form at Ripon last time was really, really disappointing. Even though he's one of the top rated, I can't see him bouncing back. Seems to be a little grab, if you like, with the blinkers going on for the first time. He did wear a visor up at Ripon. I was quite taken with Invictus Gold, the way he and another pulled well clear up the hill. That was on the July course at Newmarket when we last saw him. Neil Callan on board, not going to want to be too far away, I think, over 6 furlongs at York. So Invictus Gold, flying under the radar a bit, stepping up in grade.
Okay, that's York then underway. Let's go back to HQ and to the first juvenile contest of the day. And Betfred Derby hopes on show here in the Zetland Stakes. A race won the last 3 years by Charlie Appleby, but not represented this year. Aidan O'Brien is, though, not once, but twice, and surely he holds the key.
Well, Shackleton has been punted on all of his 3 starts so far, and he was pretty dominant late in the day when he ran last time, got going very late on, suggesting it's an extreme test, isn't it? 1.25 miles at the back end. Cool, I remember Double Trigger running away with me down this particular strip and getting the job done in this race. And we all know how he had stamina, endless stamina, as he went up through the grades. If you were to watch back, Duna Mays, who goes for John and Thady Gosden, he took an age to get organised at Kempton last time. Once they were up and motoring, he really wasn't for stopping. He's a great big powerhouse. It hasn't been a fantastic year for the team. but have they got a good squad going into next season? Possibly. I think he's been overlooked in the market, and also too soon will be the wrong price down the bottom. Bolted in at Epsom when we saw him last time and goes up in trick. Looks a guaranteed stayer. But Dunamese, for me, however you say it, Doyle on board.
We know which one you are then. Yeah, Dunamese in the Zetland. Right, back over to the Knavesmire. 10 furlongs, extended 10 furlongs of the trip. Just one of those devilishly difficult Punters puzzles to try and solve here. Good luck.
Well, we were talking about the form of the Cambridgeshire, weren't we? And if you were not on the low numbers, you had no chance whatsoever. Dual Identity has to be on the radar for a lot of people. Look, he was only beaten 9 lengths in the end, coming from stall number 30. It was a complete throwout. His form previously at this venue behind a very good stablemate of his is rock solid. Trip is fine. Track is fine. We've already mentioned the jockey, Neil Callan. Could be a quick fire double for him up at York.
Got to win one, hasn't he?
Oh, well, he's super, super consistent. Look, you're going in against some old favourites. Yukon Glen, Sisyphean, who goes for Kevin Ryan. I think he's an interesting contender. But when you look at all the others, you're asking the likes of a Beneteau to put up a performance that we haven't seen from him so far. Bolster's interesting at the top for Carl Burke, but Dual Identity, he deserves one.
Yeah, he's probably going to carry some of my money again this afternoon and, as they put that Cambridgeshire bias to bed. Right, back over to HQ then and continue with the juvenile action. The Autumn Stakes. Again, another race dominated by Charlie Appleby. He's won the last 4 renewals and he saddles Silver Peak in here with William Buick on board. But again, Aidan O'Brien has a likely 5.
Yeah, Silver Peak, watch his win back last time. 1.2 million he cost at the sales, which is obviously something that's pretty topical at the moment. He took an age to get going and then was well on top. Got full of praise from William Buick on that particular win last time. Nightwalker, he was under an inspired Ryan Moore, making all when we last saw him at Yarmouth. He's got to improve, I think, significantly from where he was. And the one who's off a poor run at Doncaster, Wolford Badenoch down the bottom, who had previously run really, really well at Goodwood. But Stanhope Gardens, Rafe Beckett, Ross Orion, look back at his win at Beverley. When he gave him the office, he literally powered away in the closing stages, took an awful lot of pulling up as well. I think he is the rocket in here. He's going to be a big, big improver.
Yeah, Stanhope Gardens, yeah, they just cannot stop winning that team at present, can they? Right, back up to York. Did I say the 205 looked difficult? Wait until we saw the 240 then. One of those typical sprints. Is the Sprint Trophy, the final big handicap on the Knavesmire this year, over 6 furlongs. How many darts do you want?
Well, I can have a couple, but I think we might have found the key to this. But a really interesting contender from a top outfit. Low mileage improver, never ran in a handicap before, has been keeping group company, maybe one little run in listed company. It's Malk for Richard Fahey and Jack Garrity. You remember him as a juvenile. He won on his racecourse debut. He then stepped into the Royal Ascot Juvenile Division. He's ran twice this year behind Elite Status, and who broke the course record, and Inisherin up in Group 1 company at the Royal Meeting. It's his first real opportunity of winning a race for a good while, and he's dropped down a handicap. I can't believe he's out there in double digits. Also, Haggis backing up Germanic very, very quickly. 7 days after running no race last time. Remember, he was unlucky at Doncaster, set sail for home and got caught. That was over 7. 7 last time, back to 6. Maybe Haggis knows something we don't. But those two, Malk is the main one for me.
Okay, Richard Fahey then. Not sure about having a winner add to York. Right, the Dewhurst, Charlie Appleby, Aidan O'Brien, dominant. 6 of the last 8 they have saddled are the winners of this between us. They saddled 5 of the 6 this year as well. Only Hugo Palmer stands behind between them, extending the record. And of course, we've got 3 in here unbeaten. The Line and Winter, all the rage for next year's Betfred sponsored classics after winning very impressively the Acomb Stakes, but has been off the track since. This is only 6 runners, but there's a lot of quality.
Now, what did you think, or what was your take on the way the track was riding at York when he managed to get the job done? That's the key, isn't it? You know, was he favoured or by the way the bias and the freewheeling nature of the track? Tactics are going to be so important. Rocker Cashel expanded. Are they making it? Are they dropping in? They know exactly what's going on. But of course, Charlie Appleby has 2 arrows to fire as well. I think Shadow of Light is arguably the best in the juvenile division at the moment. He was drawn completely on the wrong side of the track at York and made sure that he was super dominant up at headquarters last time. The extra trip looks well within his compass, and he made Whistlejacket look decidedly slow up the hill when we saw him, and we know he's not. His form ties in with some of the best juveniles we have seen. The Lion in Winter, he's bound to be punted off the board, but will it be the boys in blue that come out on top? I think so.
Fascinating. 2 of the biggest operations going head to head. And yeah, cannot wait for that, the Dewhurst. And of course, it will be a shake-up to next year's Betfred 2000 Guineas market for sure. Right, just a small matter. The Cesarewitch to solve now. 25 runners, 2.25 miles, run over 2 counties. The Irish are over in their droves as well. What wins this year, says Jason?
Yeah, previous winner coming back over for the Burns team, run for Oscar. You got Spirit Mixer, who has arguably found an extra leg of late and is stepping up in grade. We've got a Prescott runner, Trooper Bizd, who was actually 4th in this last season. But whether he's up to taking a big jump through, I'm not so sure. I quite like, at a massive price, Matt, and you can help me out here as to what sort of offer we've got at the moment, because Aquam for Ian Williams. Now, he's unexposed at the trip. He's had 1 try, and he quite clearly stayed when he was an unlucky 6th in the Chester Cup. Prior to that, he's got a wonderful pedigree. He'd been going through the grades quite nicely, and admittedly, he has been off with a little bit of some sort of physical injury. But Ian Williams, as he just protected him on a mark of 90 to come back here and try and land the big pot. That's certainly what it looks like. Franny Norton recently retired. He rode him last time. It's one of those rides that he wished to forget. No luck or no room at the inn down on the inside. He's a massive prize, isn't he, Matt?
28-1.
Yeah, and look, he's just got, when you talk about the profiles, if you were looking at the Shunter, Samui, those type of horses, if they had a profile like him, coming from a real good outfit like Ian Williams, he would be half or a quarter of that price, I am sure. Everything about him screams that he's been kept back for this.
Like it. Aquaman. 1 dart, simple in the says. Right, 8 races cover some massive handicaps, some brilliant juvenile group contests as well. Everyone catered for. What's your best bet?
I think it's got to be, and a bit of a surprise for some people, Stanhope Gardens. Now, he comes in off the back of winning at Beverley. Not very often can you be in front, give one a squeeze, and they open up again. They normally just hang the latch. They're a pack animal, but he opened up for a dominant display. Just could be pretty special. Another one for Beckett.
Brilliant stuff. Hopefully you found a few winners then. Boy, just a brilliant weekend racing. Obviously Chepstow as well over the jumps, really signifying the start of the winter game, but we're not done on the flat yet. Brilliant afternoon at York, their final meeting of the season, and future Champions Day. We will be seeing some at Newmarket this weekend. Thanks to Jason as always. Next time, we'll be looking forward to Champions Day at Ascot next week. Wherever you're back in this weekend, though, the very best of luck.